September 9, 2017. 4 a.m. Rosemont, Illinois, Teresa Martin's phone rings. It's her daughter's friends. Kenneka is missing. They can't find her anywhere in the hotel. Teresa calls the police. She reports her 19-year-old daughter missing. The police tell her to wait. Call back later, so she drives to the hotel herself. She begs the staff to check the surveillance cameras. She's frantic. She knows something is wrong. The hotel does nothing. At 1 p.m., 9 hours after Teresa first called police, Rosemont police finally file a missing person report. At 10 p.m., 18 hours after the first call, police are reviewing surveillance footage when they spot something. Kenneka, staggering through the hotel corridors at 3:20 a.m. Alone. Visibly impaired. Nobody with her. Heading toward a kitchen in an unused part of the hotel, the police didn't check those cameras for 18 hours. At 12:25 a.m. on September 10th, nearly 24 hours after Kenneka was last seen, a hotel employee finally opens the walk-in freezer in that unused kitchen. Kenneka Jenkins is inside. Face down. One shoe off. Dead. She is 19 years old. The temperature inside the freezer is 34 degrees Fahrenheit. She died of hypothermia. The official story: Kenneka was drunk. She wandered into the kitchen. She stumbled into the freezer. She couldn't get out. She froze to death. Case closed. Accident. Nobody's fault, but Teresa Martin doesn't believe it. And when you look at what she discovered, you'll understand why. The toxicology report shows a drug in Kenneka's system. Topiramate, a prescription medication for epilepsy and migraines. Kenneka was never prescribed that drug. She had no prescription. She had no diagnosis. So how did it get in her body? The freezer had a white circular handle on the inside. The police say it was working properly. Anyone inside could push it and walk out, so why didn't Kenneka? The surveillance footage shows Kenneka entering the kitchen at 3:32 a.m. The camera is motion activated. The last time it recorded anyone before Kenneka. August 30th. 10 days earlier, the same camera makes no recordings after Kenneka passes, until her body is discovered 21 hours later. No one else. No other motion. Just Kenneka, entering the kitchen. Alone, and never coming out. Her funeral draws over 1,000 people. Protests erupt outside the hotel. A Change.org petition demanding the case be reopened gets hundreds of thousands of signatures. In 2023, after a 5-year lawsuit, the hotel settles for $10 million. The court finds the hotel was negligent. They didn't secure the kitchen. They didn't respond when Kenneka went missing. They didn't check their own cameras, but was it just negligence? Or was it something worse? 7 years later, the questions remain unanswered. Unresolved. Haunting. Welcome to Case Unknown, where we investigate the crimes that changed nations, the cases that exposed hidden evils, and the stories that demand to be told. Last episode, we examined the Asha degree mystery, a 9-year-old who walked into a storm and vanished. A case that went cold for 24 years until DNA technology finally named suspects in 2024. Today we stay with disappearances that don't make sense. With evidence that raises more questions than it answers. With families who never accepted the official story. This is the death of Kenneka Jenkins. Not just a tragic accident, but a story about institutional failure, about a mother who fought for years, and about a drug in a dead girl's body that no one can explain. What really happened inside that hotel? Why did it take 24 hours to find her? And what was in her system that she was never prescribed? You're about to find out. This episode discusses the death of a 19-year-old woman, drug use, and allegations of foul play. We'll examine evidence from multiple perspectives. If you need to skip this one, we understand. Before that September night, Kenneka Jenkins was the kind of person who lit up a room. She was born May 27, 1998, on the west side of Chicago. The second of 4 children raised by her mother Teresa Martin. A tight family. A close community, Kenneka was 19 years old. Recently graduated from high school. Working. Trying to figure out her future. She liked to laugh. She liked music. She was the friend everyone wanted around because she made everything feel lighter. Her mother described her simply, "She was my baby. She was my heart." Friends said she was loyal. The kind of person who showed up. If you needed someone, Kenneka was there. Friday evening, September 8, 2017. Kenneka tells her mother she's going out with friends. A birthday party. Nothing unusual. She borrows Teresa's car keys. She leaves the house around 11:30 p.m. The party is at the Crown Plaza Chicago O'Hare Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois, a suburb just northwest of Chicago. A legitimate hotel. Respectable. The kind of place you'd stay for a business conference, room 926. 9th floor. A private party organized by a group of Kenneka's friends and acquaintances. Kenneka arrives at the hotel at 1:13 a.m. Surveillance cameras catch her at the entrance. She's with other people. Walking normally. Nothing unusual. She goes upstairs to the party. She has drinks. Multiple witnesses later tell police she was drinking cognac. She dances a little. She talks. She seems fine, at first, but sometime during the night, something shifts. Witnesses tell police she starts acting differently. One says she seemed sad. Withdrew from the group. Went to sit down by herself. Another says she seemed out of it, beyond what you'd expect from a few drinks. She wasn't acting like her usual self, one witness says. Around 1:30 a.m., Kenneka's sister calls her. They speak briefly. It's the last time anyone in her family hears her voice. Sometime after 1:30 a.m., Kenneka leaves the room. Her friends tell police she went with some people to get her phone and car keys from another room. But the friends who went with her came back without her. They told the others they'd left her in a hallway alone while they went to retrieve the phone, and that was it. They didn't go back for her. At 3:20 a.m., surveillance footage picks Kenneka up near the front desk of the hotel. She is alone. Visibly impaired. Staggering. She leans briefly against the wall. She keeps moving. At 3:32 a.m., the kitchen camera catches her entering a restricted area of the hotel. An unused kitchen. Dark. No staff. No reason for a guest to be there. She walks in. The camera doesn't show what happens next. It doesn't capture the freezer door. After 3:32 a.m., Kenneka Jenkins is never seen alive again. The failure to find Kenneka Jenkins is a story of institutional negligence so staggering it becomes almost impossible to believe. 4 a.m., September 9th. Kenneka's friends realize they can't find her. They call Teresa Martin. Kenneka is missing. Teresa calls Rosemont police immediately. She reports her daughter missing. Police tell her to wait. Standard procedure for a missing adult. Call back later. Teresa doesn't wait. She drives to the hotel herself. She begs the front desk to check surveillance cameras. She explains her daughter was at a party. She's missing. Please check the cameras. The hotel does nothing. Hotel staff do not check the cameras. Hotel security does not search the premises. Nobody looks. Throughout September 9th, daytime, Teresa is frantic. She calls police repeatedly. Friends search the hotel. They check the parking lot, the lobby, the stairs. The hotel has 503 rooms and extensive facilities. Nobody conducts a systematic search. 1 p.m., Rosemont police finally file a missing person report. More than 9 hours after Teresa first called. 10 p.m., police are at the hotel. They start reviewing surveillance footage. And they find something. Kenneka, on camera. Staggering down hallways at 3:20 a.m. Heading toward the kitchen, this footage has been sitting on hotel servers for nearly 20 hours. Nobody checked it. When the mother arrived at 4 a.m. asking staff to check cameras, they could have found Kenneka. She was still alive in the freezer. She had entered at 3:32 a.m. The coroner would later say she was likely alive for several hours inside. If anyone had checked the cameras at 4 a.m. or even 8 a.m., Kenneka might be alive today. Instead, the cameras weren't checked until 22 hours after she disappeared, 12:25 a.m. September 10th, a hotel employee opens the walk-in freezer in the unused kitchen. Kenneka Jenkins is inside. Face down on her side. One shoe off. A small cut on her left foot. No other visible trauma. The freezer temperature is 34 degrees Fahrenheit, measured approximately 2 hours after the doors were left open. She is pronounced dead at 12:48 a.m. The search lasted nearly 24 hours. The answer was in this hotel the entire time. The cameras showed where she went. Nobody looked. The official story is, Kenneka was drunk. She wandered into the kitchen. She stumbled into the freezer. She couldn't operate the handle. She froze, but every piece of that story has a problem. Let's go through them. Problem number 1, the topiramate. The Cook County Medical Examiner's toxicology report is clear. Kenneka's blood contained 2 substances: alcohol and topiramate, a prescription drug used to treat epilepsy and migraines. The medical examiner explains, topiramate and alcohol together dramatically amplify impairment, dizziness, confusion, loss of coordination, loss of judgment. It accelerates hypothermia in cold temperatures. Here is what makes this significant. Kenneka Jenkins had no prescription for topiramate. Her family confirmed it. The Cook County Medical Examiner's office confirmed it. No doctor had ever prescribed it to her, so how did a prescription medication for epilepsy get into the body of a healthy 19-year-old who had never been prescribed it? Police conclude, she must have taken it voluntarily. Perhaps at the party. Perhaps she didn't know what she was taking, but nobody at the party admits to seeing her take pills. Nobody reports drugs other than alcohol being at the party. And why would Kenneka voluntarily take an epilepsy medication she had no reason to know about? The family's attorneys raised the darker possibility, the drug was put in her drink without her knowledge. Topiramate doesn't cause euphoria. It's not a party drug. It's not recreational. There's almost no reason to take it voluntarily unless you know exactly what it does to someone who also drinks alcohol. It makes them fall. It makes them confused. It makes them unable to resist hypothermia. Problem number 2, the freezer handle. The walk-in freezer had a white circular handle on the inside. Push it, and the door opens. Police say the handle was working properly when they inspected it shortly after Kenneka's body was found, but here's what they cannot explain. Why didn't Kenneka use it? The hotel attorney displayed photographs during the civil lawsuit showing the freezer door. The door could latch shut from the outside. The family's attorney argued it could be locked from the outside. The official response, the latch was not locked. The handle worked, but if the handle worked, and Kenneka was alive inside the freezer for potentially several hours, why didn't she push the handle and walk out? Possible explanations: she was too impaired to find the handle in the dark, she was unconscious almost immediately upon entering, the handle was not working as well as police claim. She was physically unable to move due to the drug combination. None of these explanations are satisfying. All of them raise more questions. Problem number 3, the surveillance gap. The kitchen camera was motion activated. The last time it recorded movement before Kenneka. August 30th. 10 days earlier, Kenneka enters the kitchen at 3:32 a.m. on September 9th. The camera makes no further recordings, no additional motion triggers, until Kenneka's body is discovered 21 hours later. That means in 21 hours, nobody else entered that kitchen. No hotel staff. No security guard. No other guests, but here's what's strange, the hotel is open. The lobby is staffed. Security is on duty. And yet the kitchen, an area accessible from the hotel's service corridors, apparently sees no traffic for 21 hours. One security guard is caught on camera entering the kitchen area. Police confirm he got nowhere near the freezer and was never out of sight of the camera. The medical examiner says Kenneka likely survived inside the freezer for several hours. She would have been cold. Frightened. In the dark. The freezer was described as walk-in sized, meaning she had room to move, to bang on the door, to make noise. Did anyone hear anything? No witness reports hearing anything from the kitchen area overnight. Problem number 4, friends' inconsistent stories. The people at the party with Kenneka told multiple, inconsistent versions of events. Version 1. Kenneka left the party with some people to get her keys from another room. And they left her in the hallway. Version 2. Kenneka went downstairs with some people, and they don't know what happened after that. Version 3. Kenneka wandered off on her own, and they didn't notice she was gone until much later. Police interviews revealed, friends knew Kenneka was missing well before 4 a.m. Text messages retrieved by police show one friend texting another, "Find Kenneka." The reply, "I can't believe y'all lost her." They knew she was lost. They texted about it. But they waited hours before contacting Teresa. Why the inconsistent stories? Why the delay? Some investigators believe the friends know more than they're saying. That something happened at that party, or shortly after, that nobody is willing to talk about. No one has ever been charged with anything related to that night. Problem number 5, the hotel's response, when Teresa Martin arrived at the hotel in the early morning hours. Begging for help, she was essentially turned away. Hotel staff did not check cameras. Hotel security did not search the premises. Teresa later told reporters that police tried to arrest her as she searched the hotel for her daughter. Rather than help a desperate mother find her missing child, officers threatened to detain her. It would take over 18 hours after Teresa's first call before anyone bothered to check the surveillance footage. The civil lawsuit, settled for $10 million in December 2023, confirmed what the family had been saying for years: the hotel was negligent. The court found the hotel failed to properly secure the kitchen area, failed to shut down an illegal party, and failed to thoroughly check security camera footage. Once it was determined Jenkins had gone missing, the hotel was negligent. That much is now established fact, but negligence and murder are different things. The question the family still asks, was it only negligence? The death of Kenneka Jenkins generated more internet theories than almost any other case of 2017. Most of them were wild and unsubstantiated. But some questions deserve serious examination. Theory 1, tragic accident, official ruling, Kenneka was drunk. The topiramate amplified her impairment. She wandered, disoriented, into an area of the hotel she had no reason to be in. She entered the walk-in cooler, then the freezer. In the dark, impaired, she couldn't operate the door handle. She died, the official ruling. Accidental. Hypothermia. Supporting this, surveillance video shows her staggering and impaired, high blood alcohol level, no direct evidence of another person in the kitchen, no signs of physical trauma on her body. The medical examiner concluded accident, but problems remain: the drug she wasn't prescribed, the working handle she didn't use, the 21 hours it took anyone to find her. Theory 2, the topiramate was planted in her drink. Someone at that party, or someone who had access to her drink, slipped topiramate into what she was drinking. Why? This is where the theory gets murky. Social media circulated a claim that Kenneka was sold for $200, that someone at the party received money in exchange for setting her up. Police investigated this directly. They asked one of Kenneka's friends about the $200 claim. The friend offered an explanation. Kenneka had mentioned a $200 parking fine, and that was the context of the number heard on the Facebook Live video recorded at the party. The "help me" sound heard by some viewers in the background. The friend said it was from a Chief Keef song playing in the room. Police concluded the $200 theory was unfounded, but the drug in Kenneka's system remains unexplained. If someone did spike her drink, who? And why? Theory 3, the friends know what happened. The people at the party with Kenneka told inconsistent stories. They knew she was missing and waited. They left her in a hallway alone. Their explanations don't fully line up. The theory, someone at that party did something to Kenneka, whether intentional harm or a decision to leave her somewhere and hope for the best, and the group has maintained a code of silence ever since. No evidence has been produced to support criminal intent on the part of the friends. But the inconsistent statements remain part of the official record. Theory 4, Hotel Cover-Up. The hotel knew Kenneka was in that kitchen long before they admitted it. They delayed the investigation to protect themselves from liability. This theory is partly supported by facts. The hotel did not check cameras when Teresa asked. The hotel did not conduct a thorough search. The hotel's negligence allowed Kenneka to remain undiscovered for 21 hours, but there is no evidence that hotel staff knew she was in the freezer and chose not to retrieve her. The evidence suggests incompetence and indifference rather than deliberate concealment. The $10 million settlement tells us the hotel was negligent. It doesn't tell us they were criminal. Theory 5, she was placed there. The most serious theory, Kenneka did not walk into that freezer under her own power. She was unconscious, or near unconscious, when she was placed inside by someone else. The surveillance video shows her walking into the kitchen. She appears impaired but mobile. She enters at 3:32 a.m. The camera does not capture what happens next at the freezer door. Is it possible she collapsed in the kitchen, was picked up and placed inside the freezer by someone, and that person left before triggering the motion camera again? Police say no. They say the camera configuration makes this impossible. Anyone near the freezer would have appeared on camera. But the camera had a blind spot, the freezer door itself. We see Kenneka walking toward it. We don't see her open it. We don't see what happens in those final feet. Regardless of how Kenneka died, one thing is not in dispute: the system failed her in ways that were preventable and inexcusable. Failure number 1, police told a mother to wait. When Teresa Martin called at 4 a.m. to report her daughter missing, police told her to wait and call back. Standard procedure for a missing adult, but Kenneka was not a runaway. She was a 19-year-old at a hotel party who her friends couldn't find. Her mother knew something was wrong. If police had responded immediately, they would have arrived while Kenneka was potentially still alive in the freezer. The surveillance footage would have been checked within hours. Kenneka might have been found in time. Instead, wait and call back. Failure number 2, hotel staff did not act. When Teresa arrived at the hotel in the early hours and begged staff to check cameras, they did nothing. Hotel management did nothing. Security did nothing. This is not just a moral failure. It is a legal one. The civil settlement confirmed it. The hotel had surveillance cameras covering nearly every public area. They had a duty to check those cameras when a guest's mother appeared at the front desk in distress saying her daughter was missing. They didn't. For 18 hours, failure number 3, a black woman's life was not treated as urgent. This is the point that Teresa Martin, the family's attorneys, and community leaders raised from the beginning. Would the response have been different if Kenneka were white? The evidence is uncomfortable. A mother calls at 4 a.m. reporting her daughter missing. She is told to wait. She comes to the hotel. She is treated with suspicion, reportedly threatened with arrest. It would take 9 hours for police to file a missing person report. 18 hours before cameras were checked. Compare this to high-profile missing white woman cases where law enforcement responds within hours. Where hotels are shut down and searched immediately. Where no mother is told to wait and call back. The disparity in urgency is not a conspiracy theory. It is a documented pattern in how law enforcement treats missing persons reports based on race. Kenneka Jenkins deserved better. Her mother deserved better. And the failure to treat her disappearance with urgency is a systemic failure that cost a young woman her life. Failure number 4, social media replaced investigation. Because official channels failed, Teresa Martin turned to social media. She live-streamed her search. She asked the public for help. She shared what little she knew, and social media responded. Millions watched. Millions speculated. A Facebook Live video from the party room that night was analyzed frame by thousands of people online. Some of what emerged from that social media investigation was valuable. Public pressure forced police to act faster and release more evidence than they might otherwise have. But much of it was harmful. Wild, unfounded theories targeted innocent people. Friends of Kenneka received death threats. One person moved out of Chicago to escape the harassment. When institutions fail, people fill the vacuum. And the vacuum is often filled with fear and anger rather than truth. 7 years after Kenneka Jenkins entered that freezer, the questions her family carries remain. Where did the Topiramate come from? This is the question that keeps the family's attorneys up at night. Kenneka had no prescription, no medical reason to take it, no recreational motive. It is not a drug people take to get high. If it wasn't hers, whose was it? And how did it get into her body? Police concluded she took it voluntarily or unknowingly at the party. Nobody has ever been able to explain how or why. Why didn't she use the handle? The medical examiner and police say the freezer handle was functional. Pressing it from inside would open the door. Kenneka was potentially alive inside for hours. Why didn't she get out? Was she too impaired by the drug-alcohol combination to find the handle in the dark? Was she unconscious? Did the handle work as well as police claim? We don't know. We will never know. What are the friends not saying? The inconsistent stories. The delayed report. The text messages showing they knew she was lost. Nobody has ever faced any criminal consequence for anything that happened that night. Nobody has ever publicly given a fully consistent account of the hours between Kenneka leaving the party and Teresa Martin's 4 a.m. call. What happened in that hotel between 1:30 a.m. and 3:32 a.m.? Who was Kenneka with? What was she doing? Does the $10 million settlement tell us anything? Yes. It tells us the hotel was negligent. That negligence allowed Kenneka to spend 21 hours in a freezer when she might have been found sooner, but settlements are not admissions of criminal wrongdoing. The $10 million says, we failed to protect her. It does not say, we killed her, and those are two very different things. Is the case truly closed? Officially, yes. Rosemont police closed their investigation. The Cook County medical examiner ruled accidental. The civil case settled. There will be no criminal trial. No charges. No conviction. For Teresa Martin, no settlement and no ruling changes the question she will carry forever. Was my daughter's death truly an accident? Or was there something more? Kenneka Jenkins was 19 years old. She borrowed her mother's car on a Friday night. She went to a party. She texted her sister. She danced a little and then seemed sad. She was left alone in a hallway, and she ended up inside a freezer. Her mother called for help at 4 a.m. Was told to wait. Went to the hotel herself. Was turned away. Pleaded for 18 hours while her daughter lay dying in a room no one bothered to check. In 2023, a court confirmed what Teresa always knew: the hotel failed. The security failed. The system failed, but the deeper questions, the drug no one prescribed, the handle no one explains, the friends whose stories never fully aligned, those questions have no court ruling. They just have Teresa Martin, who fought for 5 years to get $10 million and still doesn't have the one thing she actually wanted: the truth. Kenneka Jenkins deserved better than an unused kitchen in a hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. She deserved someone to check the cameras when her mother asked. She deserved friends who stayed with her. She deserved a system that treated her disappearance as urgent. She got none of those things, and she never came home. The death of Kenneka Jenkins changed how many people think about missing persons responses, hotel liability, and the value placed on Black women's lives in America. This is Case Unknown, where we investigate the crimes that expose uncomfortable truths about our systems, our culture, and ourselves. If this episode made you think about institutional failure, about who gets helped and who gets told to wait, about the questions that $10 million can't answer, that's the point. But before we go, here's what's coming next on Case Unknown. In 2006, a woman in Missouri woke up and didn't know who she was. She had no memory, no identity, no past. Police eventually identified her. She had a husband, a family, a life. But here's what no one could explain: she was found 60 miles from home. She had been missing for 4 years. Where had she been? What had happened to her? And why, when she was found, did she show no signs of abuse, just complete, total amnesia? Next time, the disappearance of Tanya Ryder, when a woman came back from nowhere and remembered nothing. Until then, remember, the unknown is only unknown. until someone asks the right questions, and sometimes, those questions cost people everything. This is case unknown.